first I'd like to give a lot of credit to Florida Gulf Coast for the way they came in, how well they were prepared, and just how well they shot the basketball. I knew they could really shoot, and they hadn't shot maybe like this throughout most of the season, but having scouted these guys over the years, I knew what they were capable of, and they showed it in the first half. I give our guys a lot of credit because when you're facing a team that's that hot shooting the basketball, you have to dig down real deep and find something within you in order to kind of change that outcome. And I thought our guys were able to dig deep. They were able to dig deep. They were able to get back locked in on the game plan, especially in the second half, and we were able to turn it around. But that's something that is very difficult to do for any team at any level. And I give our guys, I'm just really proud of our guys for how they approached the second half of the game.
You just talked about digging deep, obviously the second half, but just talking about the end of that first half. They go up by 8, that is the largest lead they have, but you guys dug in and were able to tie the game right before halftime.
No, absolutely. It started then. You're absolutely right. It started toward the end of the half. We called timeout and down 8, and I thought our guys really responded. We got some stops, and we were able to come down and execute. We were able to kind of tie it up at the pretty much at the last second of the first half. So, no, just really proud of our guys, like I said, for just continuing to fight, even though a team is really red hot. Like I said, it's tough to beat a team that's red hot, and I thought our guys did a good job of giving us a chance to win.
Coach, on a similar note, we spoke with Demas, and he said he'd never seen a team shoot that ball that well from the perimeter in the first half. What's the kind of message you're giving to them, trying to say, like, stick with it, especially their offensive performance, a nice offensive performance, to stick with it at half and eventually take that lead in the second half?
Well, you have to keep believing in each other. You have to keep fighting for each other on the court. It's a long game. Game's not going to be, typically won or lost in a half. You got to keep on, staying within what you're trying to do with your system. I thought our guys stayed within what we were trying to do. I thought second half we made some adjustments as well, and we got back to also following the game plan. I didn't think we followed the game plan as well as we needed to in the first half, and they got a lot of great looks at the basket. I thought in the second half we corrected that for the most part, and that helped us. And so we just got to just understand how important it all is, where, the will to win is good, but the will to prepare to win is something that separates most teams. And we have to have that will to prepare to make sure that we're not in situations like this.
Coach Demas was talking about how FGCU kind of had some unorthodox defense there at the beginning of the game. They mentioned that they were trying to figure out what they were in. I wanted to get your perspective on that, what FGCU was kind of doing there early in the game defensively.
They're disruptive defensively. They're disruptive by how they guard, and the good thing is we faced a number of teams this year that have thrown different things at us, and I love that. That's what the preseason is for, so they can prepare you for conference play. And we've seen some, unique defenses, some different presses, and so again, they provided that for us as well. And so we had to really, take care of the basketball. We only had 10 turnovers, even though they were mixing their defenses up. They were going from man to zone and matching up out of the zone. And so I thought our guys started to kind of figure it out as the game went on, how we could be successful.
You talked about playing a full 40 minutes before. I mean, obviously you had 20 minutes there in the second half, but how do you want to, have these guys take this to try to get to playing that full 40 minutes defensively?
Well, it's going to take all of us. It's going to take our depth to be able to do it. And I think as our depth starts to continue to, understand, their roles and what we're trying to get done, I think we take a jump because not that everyone definitely is buying in, but it's a function of being out there with your minutes and working your minutes and understanding, the main thing we got to do is on the defensive end. The offense will come. These guys are good offensive players. They don't mind sharing the basketball, but we have to be, equally connected defensively. And I thought we were in the second half, except the first half. I didn't think we were as connected as we had been over the last 3 games. It actually took a step back over the last 3 games, in my opinion. And so we have to get back to the drawing board. We're trying to clean some of that up.
Whether it was personnel or scheme, what sort of changes did you make in the second half to get them off the three-point line, or at least make it more difficult for them to hit some of those shots?
Well, it starts with awareness, just being aware of shooters, understanding personnel and what they do. I didn't think we had a full, healthy respect of understanding the personnel to the level we needed to. So we went back to the drawing board with that. Make sure these guys knew these guys are really good shooters. Obviously, they're 9 for 11 in the first half, and we need to make sure that we're there on the catch to make sure that these guys are in position where they can't just, do what they were doing comfortably in the first half.
Coach, it goes without saying 19 school threes, or 19 threes is a school record. Is that something you kind of drew up before the game? You wanted to shoot early, or are you just, the players just?
No, players just gonna. I mean, we're gonna put them in our system, and we're gonna allow them to search out what's a great shot for our team. And those shots they took, for the most part, were really good shots that we want in our offense. And that's all I can ask for. And you have a night like the night where they made a lot of them. We have nights where we get those same looks. And then I think we were 4 for 30 one night. I thought we got good looks that night. They didn't go. Tonight they did. But the main thing is we just take quality shots, because you're going to have, like I said, good and bad nights shooting the basketball. That's why the one constant you have to have. And I thought, like I said, our second half was a lot better, or the last minute and a half, 2 minutes of the first half and the second half. Our defense was back to, what I wanted to see us doing.
Just coming into tonight's game, you guys were the third best three-point shooting team in the Big 12. Obviously, today might have boosted that up a little bit. How important is three-point shooting to that roster construction?
It's important. We tried to devise our roster in a way where we had a good balanced offense between our perimeter guys and our post players, and I think that they're getting there. I mean, are we where we want to be? Absolutely, we're not at that stage yet, but we're moving in the right direction. Guys are improving individually, and I think we're improving collectively as they start to continue to understanding what exactly we want as a staff. Remember, Scots came in June, all of them, and you're trying to mold them into one team and one unit, in 9 months. And that's a process. And you're going to have some ups and downs with that. You're going to have some good days and bad days. But through all it all, we have to keep getting better, and that's what we're attempting to do.
Johnny, Riley Kugel didn't have any points tonight. He struggled. Looks like he struggled the last 3 or 4 games. Is that something that it's a personal struggle? Is it what the defense is giving him? Maybe what's he kind of going through a little stretch?
Well, he's one of our go-to guys, so of course he's going to receive a lot of attention. And so I thought he did a really good job, especially in the second half, and went back in the game. He found John Bowl for a dunk, because he attracted so many people towards him. He was able just to make an easy play to someone else, and he's capable of doing that. And I think the break, we talked about it before. It's been a challenge. The biggest challenge we've had, so far this season is the break that we've had to, endure. We've endured, playing with 2 or 3 games in maybe 20 days. That's tough. That's tough. And you can get out of rhythm. We talked about it before. You asked me, I think you guys asked me last time, are you concerned about getting out of rhythm? Are you concerned? And each player goes through it differently. And so I think Riley was in such a good rhythm early on, the first 6, 7 games. And then we started, okay, we play a game off 7 days, play a game off 10 days. So I think he's getting in rhythm, and he will, and we're going to help him continue to do that. He just needs to stay the course, stay aggressive, find the open guy when they're available, and keep defending, and he'll be fine.
Coach, FGCU made it physical early in the game. What did you like about how your team responded to that?
Well, I love Pat's his teams always play physical. Everywhere he's coached, he does a great job. His teams play the right way. They play hard, so I knew that going into the game. I knew our guys would need to respond. They would have to play, a physical game. They had to be ready for physicality, and I thought we were. I thought we were ready, for the physicality that they were able to bring to the game, and that's something you want to see our guys do as we move forward, because it's only going to continue to get more and more physical for us. And so being in a game like this, where the team is shooting it that well or they're physical, all those things, help us as we're trying to, learn about our team, learn about our rotations, and what we're capable of doing.
Coach, now just 1 game away after the next one from conference play. What do you think needs to happen for the team to maybe get out some of the trading blow situations that we've had this preseason, because you don't want that transfer over to conference play?
Well, we have to minimize teams' runs, and the runs that they're making. We have to be able to minimize runs, stop runs. What do we have to do to be able to get that done? Those are things we have to continue to get better at. And it starts with our communication. We need to talk. That's something that we have to do better. I mean, it starts with communication on the defensive end as well as the offensive end. But definitely, speaking defensive now, we need to have better communication on the floor. As we communicate better, I think our defense will be more coordinated.
Coach, with FAU now coming up in a couple of days, you got a neutral site game coming up again. Is there something that you learned from your last neutral site experience with Pittsburgh that you want to see them do now with another little short trip to Disney?
Well, it's just all our preparation. I thought we prepared well for Pitt, and we need to do the same thing, for Florida Atlantic. We need to do the same thing for them. They're a very good basketball team. They're well coached as well. And so preparation is going to be important. You know, how we look at, you know, our schemes and the way we need to play to have a chance to win. That's all you can ask for, because I know they'll be ready, and I know they're preparing as well.
While you came into that second half tied, you had those second chance points, help creating some separation early on, you know, getting back there in the paint. Just what was it like seeing UCF kind of take control of the paint again there in the second?
Well, it was good to see. I thought, you know, Jermichael Stillwell set a good tone. I thought he really got on the boards. I thought John Bowl got on the boards for us. I thought those guys did a good job. Jordan Burks got some offensive rebounds. Those guys did a really good job of giving us second and third shot attempts and giving us second chance opportunities. And I was glad to see we took advantage of some of them.
Couple more?
Yeah, you've had the same starting lineup for the last 9 games, all the wins, 10 out of the 11 overall. Do you consider, given the way some of the guys are playing off the bench, and changing anything, or are you happy with the way things are going as far as the rotation is concerned?
You know, I think we're fine with what we're doing rotation-wise. We're trying to get guys comfortable in their roles, but you know, we're always looking at numbers and seeing, you know, is there a better fit, or you know, what's a better, you know, lineup out there for us, you know, whether starting or with our substitutions. So we're always looking at that and searching for ways to improve. But as of right now, today, I don't see us, you know, making a change, you know, before Christmas.
Coach, playing FAU at Disney on Tuesday. I'm just kind of curious how that game came about. You know, we know there was more neutral site games, it seems like, in college basketball. Was that something that you and the FAU coach maybe decided is that maybe better to kind of, you know, advantage to your net ranking, or just kind of how did that game come about to play it in down there and not do a home and home?
Well, it all helps. You know, we have now everything is so analytical, and guys are looking at, you know, how do you need to schedule to, you know, for the numbers to be, you know, where they should be for you to have a chance to be successful. And so we have really good guys at that. Our operations guy is very good at numbers and scheduling, and you know what should be the best games for us. And we actually had a game, you know, we had a game that we thought we had that was canceled, and that game kind of put us in a position where we were trying to figure out, okay, what would be the next best fit for us, and I'm sure FAU would feel in the same way. What's the best fit for them? Because it was such short notice, because we had a game that got canceled after the schedules were already out for most teams, and so we were scrambling. And I'm just happy that, you know, we were able to get a game with FAU. I respect their coach. I respect their program and what they do. You know, I follow them, you know, just because, you know, we have some mutual friends, and they've done a good job.
Last one.
Coach, one of the team captains, Devin Cambridge, had a very strong second half, was on the boards, making hustle plays. What kind of his experience kind of doing games like this where it's tied when it's halftime?
Well, I thought he did a great job. I was really happy for Devin, because Devin's a really good basketball player. He's like a glue guy for us. And so I was really happy to see him have some success, because we need everybody. As we said before, if our strengths and our numbers, everybody has to be able to contribute. Everybody has to be able to help us. And you look down our roster, you know, you think about our season thus far, and pretty much every player has given us a lift in some kind of way. And that's what you want to see. And therefore, when they come in, you know, for whatever minutes they're playing, you know, they're confident that they can help and they can contribute. And so I was really happy to see Devin kind of, you know, get back to in gear and start, you know, starting to just get back comfortable with who he can be. And so, you know, I think the whole team, I think everybody on the team was very happy for him, because he's kind of our old man on the team. And like I said, he's our glue guy, he's our captain. You know, everybody has a lot of respect for what he brings to the team.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
All right, guys.